This summer, Vincennes once again becomes a stage for laughter, legacy, and classic comedy as the second annual Red Skelton Convention is set to bring performers, fans, and families together for a three-day celebration of performances, film screenings, tributes to classic TV legends, and a downtown parade that hits a milestone this year. And here to talk about all of that is Ann Pratt, the Executive Director of the Red Skelton Museum of American Comedy. Always good to have you here with us, Ann.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
So let's talk about the convention. Last year, you kind of changed formats and called it a comedy convention.
Yes, we did. We were really kind of honing in on that second part of our title of the museum, the Red Skelton Museum of American Comedy, and really kind of focusing in on that. In the past, we had had more of a clown festival with kids games and that sort of thing. And it's not that we're getting rid of all the aspects of that festival, but we're just kind of adding a few more things to it with these comedy legends, and you are correct in saying that because we're really excited about our lineup this year.
Awesome. So what's been the response of changing it to that?
Well, we're still building on it. I think people are still getting used to the idea that, okay, where are the kids' games? But we're like, you know, that was just really something that took a lot of volunteers, and we felt like it really wasn't necessarily advancing the mission of the museum, whereas I think this new format is. And so I know that people are really excited this year to get to see some of these things we're bringing in.
Yeah, and this year's theme is kind of rural comedy.
It is. It says Clem Goes to Hooterville. And if you remember, Clem Hopper is Red's country bumpkin character. He always said he was based on a character that he knew here in Vincennes, Mr. Carl Hopper, which I don't know about that for sure, but Clem's definitely his country bumpkin character, and he's leading the charge this year. But we're also, you know, looking at Green Acres and Petticoat Junction and bringing in a few ties to those shows as well.
Yeah, so what ties are you bringing in?
Well, for Green Acres, if you'll remember Green Acres, they had Arnold the pig. Well, obviously someone has to train Arnold the pig, and that man's name was Frank Inn. And Frank Inn has passed away, but David Reddick, an Indiana native, is here to talk about Frank Inn's life and his job in training animals, because not only did he train Arnold, but also Benji the dog, who is also the same dog on Petticoat Junction.
Yeah.
So he'll be talking a little bit about him. And then with Green Acres, you may know that a Vincennes native was on Green Acres. Alvy Moore was Hank Kimball, county agent.
Yeah.
And so Doug Carroll is going to be doing a 50-minute presentation on Alvy Moore's life and his tour to be a star on Green Acres.
Awesome. That'll be great. And the festival's in mid-July, starts on Red's birthday.
Red's birthday, yes. It would have been, I guess, Red's 112th birthday this year. Yes. So it will kick off on Friday. And the big show that evening is a Red Skelton tribute. And sometimes the Brian Hoffman Red Skelton show has been on Saturday night, but because Red's birthday was on Friday, we decided that would be a great lead off to the festival. So that show will kick things off at 7:30 p.m. on Friday night. And if you've not seen Brian's show, or even if you have, he has his own theater in Pigeon Forge. And we have a great pricing for the show, just $15. And it really feels like you are watching a live Red Skelton show. Mrs. Skelton said it really almost scared her the first time she saw Brian perform, because it was so similar to Red's mannerisms and his voice quality, and it really is a great show.
That's certainly a talent to come off like that.
It really is. It really is. And he's had, you know, kind of a long and winding road to get to this place where he's impersonating Red Skelton, but he has really nailed it.
Yeah, so the festival starts on the 18th and runs through the weekend?
Yes, it runs through Sunday. So on the 18th, prior to Brian's show, we actually have a couple of things that morning. At noon, we have one of our board members who's a Mason and a Shriner will be doing a Masonic tribute to Red, and just talking a little bit about his Masonic recognitions he had. And you know, he got his 33rd degree right here in Vincennes at Lodge 1.
Is that right?
So then they'll be touring Lodge 1 after the presentation. And so that's a way to kick it off on that Friday. And then we have bus tours, one on Friday, one Saturday, and one Sunday. And those are starting on Friday, and that's an hour-long guided tour that talks about all the places of significance in Vincennes for Red.
Wow. So what are some of those places around
Well,
town?
one is the Pantheon. Of course, he really credits an experience he had at the Pantheon when he was 10 years old as inspiring him to go into show business. And now when we do stop at the Pantheon, actually people get off the bus tour and go in and check out the mural that's inside the Pantheon. They look at the mural on the back of the parking lot at Vigo Street. They see see Red's dad's grave in the cemetery, which is kind of cool because people are always pasting little clown statues on his gravestone. They'll see his birthplace, a few other places where he may have lived or worked. So it's a full hour on the bus learning a lot about Red Skelton's life here in Vincennes.
Awesome. And Mrs. Lothian Skelton will be here for the...
She will. She'll be here for everything. She gets in earlier in that week, and so she'll be here. And there's a dinner with Mrs. Skelton on Saturday. Saturday's really our full day of events. And they kick off in the morning with a bus tour at 10. We have the parade, which I know we'll talk about a little bit more later, but that'll be at 11 a.m. And then we start with the talks. We'll have the talk from Frank Inn and the talk about Alvy Moore. And then one that I'm really excited about is the Lucy Desi tribute at 3 p.m. And that will actually be in the big theater. And these guys are amazing. Jeff and Carrie Ketterman out of Corydon, Indiana, do an amazing job.
And they've been here before, right?
They have. They have performed at one of our other festivals. They did... I don't think they did Lucy and Desi that year, but they might have. I'm not remembering for sure, but they're so multi-talented. I know they were here and did a Roaring Twenties thing for one of our shows as well. But then that evening is the dinner with Mrs. Skelton. So if you've never had a chance to meet Mrs. Skelton, or even if you have, you can get tickets for the dinner with Mrs. Skelton and then on to the show that evening. And I think that's the show on Saturday evening is one thing I'm most looking forward to. Bob Nelson from New York was here last year, and we had a lot of mess ups last year at the festival because we lost our air conditioning at the last minute. We had to move everything. So not as many people got to see Bob Nelson last year as I really wish could have, because he is so funny. I mean, the entire place was literally laughing so our stomachs hurt. He is that funny, truly. And it kind of reminds you of Red Skelton. He has a lot of crazy characters that he brings out during his show, but he is hilarious, and he will be doing his show at 7:30 on Saturday. And then our final thing on Sunday is a film fest, showing Red's Texas Carnival, and then My Life as a Robot, which is a documentary about Robert Shields of Shields and Yarnell, the mimes.
I remember them. It seems like they were on every variety show in the early mid-70s.
And I actually think they came to VU and performed when I was a kid as part of early alumni community series shows with Shields and Yarnell.
Yeah, I can remember even trying to mime the mimes.
So, so exactly. So that film will be on Sunday along with Texas Carnival. And one of the good things is with your festival button, they're just $7, and you'll get into all the talks on Saturday, the Lucy and Desi afternoon show, and the film fest. And the buttons are just $7, and they'll get you into all those things, as well as 3 days admission to the museum. There's separate ticket pricing for the dinner with Mrs. Skelton, the 2 evening shows, and the bus tour will all have separate ticket pricing.
All right. Then where can you get those buttons at?
The buttons are available at the museum. So anytime between now and the comedy convention, you can pick up your buttons. And then all the other tickets are available online. So if you go to our website, redskeltonmuseum.org, there's ticket links for everything there, and you can get digital tickets that way.
Awesome, awesome. So again, it's July the 18th through
the 20th. Yes.
Yeah,
so a lot of a few things on Friday, a lot of stuff on Saturday the 19th, and then the film fest on Sunday.
So with the time we got left, let's talk about why do you think Red still, people are still attracted to Red's performances and comedy?
I think just it's kind of timeless. That's what's interesting about Brian Hoffman's show. All the jokes he does in the show are jokes Red did in the 80s, basically, when he did some of his HBO specials, and they all sound perfectly relevant today. And just, I think people appreciate the clean humor, and that's something with the rural comedy. I mean, I know in the early 70s, CBS removed a lot of their rural shows from TV because they felt like they needed some edgier comedy. But I think now things are starting to turn back. And, I saw Nate Bargatze on Sunday, and full clean comedy. Jim Gaffigan, full clean comedy. I think that things are turning a little bit, and people are beginning to appreciate humor that doesn't necessarily make you uncomfortable to watch it with your mom.
Yes, exactly. So Red Skelton Comedy Convention, July the 18th through the 20th.
And don't forget the parade on
the
Saturday
parade,
at 11 a.m.
20th
And
anniversary.
Significantly about the parade, this is our 20th year for the Red Skelton Parade. It started in 2006 before the museum was even built, and it has just kept growing and kept changing. And we've really got some great partnerships with the Shriners and other clowns that are going to be there. The Lincoln Band is going to be in the parade, and really excited. So get down on Main Street or 5th Street and claim your spot to watch that Red Skelton Parade on Saturday at 11 a.m.
All right, sounds good. Ann Pratt, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
All right. And for more information on that comedy convention and everything pertaining to the Museum of American Comedy or Skelton Performing Arts Center, just follow the links at our website.